playing for hours instead of just chilling on the video games is awesome to see. Anyway.
Chilling on the video games. Did you just age 55,000 years?
Well, we call them Fortnite nerds.
Yeah.
You know,
chilling on the video games.
I mean, chilling, like playing video games.
That's the way to say it, yes?
You think an old man would say chilling on the video game?
That's what you just said, yes.
You think an old man would say chilling?
On the video games?
On the video games?
Well, oh well.
You're an old man.
If you want,
Well,
I'm not a gamer.
You're getting older.
I mean, I guess
Mikey.
Hello. Good evening. Today is Wednesday, January 4th. We have a great, big, humongous show for y'all today. We have Billy Embody coming on the show at 7:15.
He's already been here.
He's already prompt.
Ready.
This man is ready to go. We have questions. Why did DeMario Tolian leave? Is John Emery coming back? It seems like he is coming back. He announced another partnership with Gordon McKernan. And, he obviously hasn't formally announced. It seems like he's coming back. My sources and people that I have talked to outside of the studio.
You do have some sources.
Said that he is coming back. It looks like he's coming back. Correction. Obviously you don't ever know. We learned that with Kayshawn. You could change your mind overnight. You don't know. So it looks like he is going to return to LSU, which is huge for the running backs. It's huge for the team. I think it's huge for John Emery, right? We talked about that a little bit on Jordy's show, and I hosted Jordy's show on Tuesday about, where is his upside? What's the upside of him? Is his upside second round, third round? Like, where was he projected in the draft to go now? Does he need more film? And, I think he decided that he needed to come back for another year, and everybody should be pretty excited about it. The big story, obviously in the sports world, it's not LSU related, it's not Louisiana related, but it is human being related. And that is Damar Hamlin. Obviously if you weren't watching the Monday Night Football game, you've probably already seen what happened to Damar Hamlin. And obviously you hate to see it, you never want to see it. It was chilling. It was a very it's hard to put into words like the feelings and the thoughts that I was feeling watching this on national TV. Not just me, millions and millions of other people were obviously watching this as well. Kudos to the medical staff for the Bills for getting out there and acting as swiftly as they did, because that may have saved his life. It seems like he is making some progress. That is the news that we are receiving, that everybody is receiving. The Bills have come out and said that he is making some progress. He is still in critical condition. He is still in the hospital. He has family and friends surrounding him right now, but he is improving. They have cut his oxygen from 100% to 50%, which means he's breathing on his own, at least at a 50% clip. That is obviously encouraging news. There's some tests that are continuing to run. I am just regurgitating the details that I'm sure everybody else has seen on social media, but it is, obviously in everybody's hearts and everybody's minds right now how he is doing. And so, if you get your sports information from us, I am giving you that good news. And if you want to contribute and you want to help any way that you can, he has a GoFundMe for his toy drive, which I think, what you say, Jay, is over $6 million now. And, it was at about $10,000, 15 minutes after the incident, and that's all the way up to $6 million. I expect that to continue to rise. There's only so much we can do in a situation like this. That is part of it. The goodness comes out. People are generous. People want to help. People want to do anything that they can do to show support for Damar. And if you want to do that, that is the way to do it. It is, all over social media, it's all over Twitter. You can find it. Donate to his GoFundMe, because if that's the only thing you can do. Look, the Bills are very good at giving back to other people that they have played against. When Josh Allen was there doing the stuff that happened, I can't imagine the outpouring and the donations and stuff that the Bills are going, because that's kind of what makes them, Bills Mafia, is they take care of their own. And it was a sad situation. I'm glad to hear that it seems like it's progressing forward in a positive way. We'll see. Obviously, we will keep you updated. Social media will keep you updated. The national media keep you updated. But I wanted to start the show with that. I mentioned we have Billy Embody coming in at 6:15. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of DeMario Tolian was a very big surprise him leaving. We're going to ask him why he thinks that happened. What is he hearing? If there's a specific reason on why he left, or was it just the big old NIL monster rears his ugly head again? Those are questions we need to ask him. Texas A&M hired Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator and play caller. I love how they have to specify play caller. Usually the offensive coordinator is the play caller, but they had to make sure, hey, he's the offensive coordinator, and Jimbo, you ain't calling plays anymore. He is. Bobby Petrino, if you aren't familiar with him, he had an incident at Louisville.
Yes.
And he was...
Incident is one way to put it.
Yeah, he had an incident.
An accident?
He had an accident.
Sugar Bowl.
If you don't remember, he was famously had the interview, press conference with the neck brace on, and... that was a debacle.
Oh my God.
That was a debacle. He's obviously, got back into football and has, nobody's ever doubted how talented he is as an offensive mind. But, the morality of some of the decisions he's made in his past is questioned. And, A&M said, fuck it. Let's go with it. Let's try it. Let's get him here.
Seems like
see
it
what he
suits
can do.
A&M very well.
I mean,
For
listen,
what
they have some talent, and
this is a reach. This is almost a last gasp for air for.
A little shocking.
Yes,
A little shocking.
Well, and because wasn't he mentioned in the job and then turned down the job, and now he's back to getting the job?
See, I don't know all that. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, obviously, but it's an interesting hire. It's gonna be interesting strategy, Kyle. Let's see how it works out for him. You know what I mean? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Episode of 1877.
LSU baseball.
There.
LSU baseball. If you have not been paying attention, they continue to come out at the top, at least in the top 3 of all of these preseason rankings. They just came out with Perfect Games poll as the number 1 preseason team in the country. Preseason rankings don't mean anything. You have to go out there and win. It's nice to get a little attention, but you got to go out there and you got to play it on the field. We'll get into that. Get into what we want to see. 6 SEC teams are in the top 10 in this Perfect Game poll. Some of them have 5, some have 4. It is a deep conference, and it's going to be a tough battle. But like I said, LSU is equipped and ready to go. They have a lot of talent, and we will get into that as the January and February progresses. Right? Jay Johnson will be visiting our show very frequently this year, like as he did last year. We're gonna have a lot of really good baseball coverage for you. But until then, let's talk a little bit about LSU basketball. LSU basketball had a huge game last night. They did not come out victorious, but I think you never want to say you have moral victories. But they went out there on the road against a team that is extremely talented and with a new coach and just never coached in the SEC. And you go out there and you basically take it down to the wire, take it down to the last play. The last play was a little funky. I don't know if Kentucky defensively took away what they initially tried to do. You would think that maybe Adam Miller or somebody, guard-wise would have the ball to be able to get it off. But, I mean, you gave it to your big man who's shooting 50% from the three-point line, so can't really go wrong with that. They end up losing, covered the spread, though. It did take LSU plus 10.5. They covered that. I enjoyed that. LSU basketball looks to be real, though. They are very physical. They play very hard. If Adam Miller can continue to shoot like the way he shot last night, I think that they have a chance to beat anybody. They went on the road, Ed Rupp Arena, against a very talented, tough team, and went toe-to-toe with them. And so I think that they're in a really good spot. And I think people are going to start noticing LSU basketball. I think people need to start getting on the Matt McMahon.
That was my biggest
bandwagon.
takeaway. Not only the Matt McMahon scenario, in which it seems like this was a hard fan base to win over, right? It feels like everybody was still, like, I've been using the analogy of like dad and stepdad is a little bit what it feels like, because what Will Wade did to build the culture back and bring LSU basketball back hit people in the way he did it, right? Like
It's like your first love and then the rebound.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, but it feels like Matt McMahon can win your heart, because not only, I mean, you talk about the last inbound play. I thought that was pretty creative in a way to get the ball and get yourself at least a shot. But my bigger point is, if Adam Miller is going to start making 5 threes a game and kind of find himself a little bit, LSU basketball has a real chance to actually make some noise and probably make the NCAA tournament.
No doubt. And you have Trey Hannibal, who comes off the bench, and he is an absolute lightning rod. And he's a He is a running back that just runs through people, and he gets to the rim anytime he wants to get to the rim, and he finishes really tough layups at the rack. So
he's out of control.
You have a guy.
He's Kentucky's center at the guard position.
Yeah, right. And you have a guy that's going to be able to go out there and get to the rim anytime you want, which is going to create people to collapse inside the paint, and you're going to be able to dish it out to three-point shooters like Adam Miller and like Cam Hayes, who's been balling out. He's been a huge addition to the starting lineup. Obviously. You have KJ Williams is your guy. He's averaging over 20 points a game. He's basically averaging a double-double. You're going to get that. Derek Fountain has been unbelievable. Transfer from Mississippi State. I mean, he can take the ball. He's a big man. He's a 4, but he can take the ball and he can dribble. He can take the guy off the dribble. He can bring bigger guys out on the wing and kind of have a mismatch. They're exciting to watch. They're very good. I don't think people didn't know what to expect because of the soft out-of-conference schedule that they played. Winning at home against Arkansas was huge. People obviously look at that game and say, oh, we know they played Arkansas. Arkansas didn't have 2 of their best players, and you're playing at home. It was just one of those things, like whatever. Well, then you go on the road. The next game you play at Kentucky against John Calipari, and you play in Rupp Arena, and you play it the way you played. I don't think there's really any question. I think that they're going to be good injury, willing that they all stay healthy and they keep their depth. But they have a 5-star center on the bench.
I don't think people even realize too. Like that game last night, they go to Kentucky and play that game. You have to realize you're playing a 4-loss or 5-loss Kentucky. 4-loss Kentucky.
Desperate, and then they got to go play.
Who's they going to Alabama? Who's the 7th seed? Like they got everything of Kentucky's best last night. It was a very urgent, almost in a weird way, kind of like a must-win game from earlier this year.
Right.
Because they lose that game and say they go on the road and lose the next game without going on some kind of crazy run, it puts them in a very bad spot in the conference.
I mean,
they needed that game.
Absolutely. And LSU got down 10 points with a chance for Kentucky to kind of blow their doors off, and they had their own mini run, got it back down to 1 point, then 3 points, and it ended up being a really good game. Yeah. And I think LSU showed a lot. I think both teams won in the
grand scheme.
I don't want to say in the grand scheme, but as far as people look at the teams, both teams won. Like, damn, both teams are really good. Obviously, they didn't win on the court.
Well, I forget the guy's name too. Whoever their leading scorer last night is not even like a scorer for them. Like
who?
The tall, light-skinned kid. I don't remember.
The guy that had Toppin.
Yeah,
it's Toppin's brother.
Yeah, I know. So my point is, he's not like their big scorer though.
Right.
Like he's not their shooter. He's not their big scorer, and he's the guy that essentially beat him last night.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, if that's how you're going to lose to Kentucky, or like when they come here and you play them here,
someone else has to beat you.
They would love for that to happen again.
No doubt. And look,
please let him be the one.
Kentucky made a lot of made a lot of shots. Obviously, Toppin was getting to the 15-foot range all day, and he was making all of the shots. It was a really good game. It was very well played. It was very well called. It was very well coached. It was very fun to watch. And LSU with basketball is in a really good spot. So. I know Billy Embody he's probably waiting very patiently listening to us talk. I'm sorry, Billy. We're going to get to you right now. Give us a 30-second break. You're watching Mik'd Up. We're going to have all the recruiting conversations, all the transfer conversations. Is John Emery coming back? I think he is. Maybe. We'll find out. Billy Embody coming up in 1 minute. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become the life of the party. You're welcome. Our What's for Lunch segment is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Maybe the best burger in town. If you're not looking for lunch, you're looking for dinner, go check out Doe's Eat Place. They have unbelievable choice of meats. They have unbelievable tamales. They have a great atmosphere, great vibes. If you're looking for a homey Louisiana type of atmosphere, but you're looking for high quality food, Doe's Eat Place is your spot. Go in the back bar, sit at the bar, have a couple drinks, watch some games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibes. Check out Doe's Eat Place, the best place in Baton Rouge to get your meats. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We are excited to be joined by our next guest, Billy Embody, who's patiently waiting in the on deck circle for me to stop talking and get out of the Heineken headlines and get to him. I know a lot of people listening to the show want us to get to you. Billy, thanks for joining us. obviously you do a lot of recruiting conversations. You cover recruiting for On 3. You cover LSU. DeMario Tolian enters the transfer portal. What is that about? Is that a shock to people outside of the program or inside the program? Is this something they were expected? What the heck is happening?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a surprise for us, just following it on our end of things, because somebody that Brian Kelly talked up just in November saying, watch him and Harold Perkins, they're kind of next. So this is one where when he didn't end up going to the bowl game and didn't play, that's probably a red flag. And now you see him enter the portal. I'm not really sure, quite honestly, what ended up happening, but he's somebody who played in 12 games as a true freshman. His future looked bright. They battled to hang on to him. When Brian Kelly took over and they brought him back in for an official visit to try and keep him on board. And for it to end this way after year one, it's just kind of tough because this is a thin linebacker room. I would imagine if they would have had it their way and probably, worked through this with DeMario Tolian, he would still be a Tiger. And that's just me saying that without knowing anything other than that they're now thin at linebacker. And he was a very young, promising linebacker that, was probably somebody that could have very well started next year as a sophomore. So one of those tough situations. And with the transfer portal, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes it's grades, sometimes it's suspensions and other things. Sometimes it's fresh start. Just overall, or want to get closer to home. I know a lot of the Florida schools were after him as a recruit just, around a year ago this time. So I'm interested to see where he ends up because he is just such a promising young linebacker when he's able to get on the field.
Are you hearing any destinations of where he wants to go? And are you hearing, is it NIL based? Is it, I just kind of want to get out of LSU? Or you just don't really know kind of what's going on or any details behind what made him want to leave?
Nothing right now. That's kind of the tough thing is when you see a surprise portal entry. That's something that, usually somewhere along the line, someone's gotten in their ear and said, it's time for a fresh start. But, as a true freshman, he didn't end up getting too many snaps, but he played in a lot of games. I'd be surprised if it was more of an NIL thing, to be honest. But there are some Florida schools that are desperate right now. Florida State is a school that's really done well in the portal, and they're killing it. I'm not sure if they're a destination for him, but that's just one of those schools that if he's looking to get closer to home potentially, they've done a really nice job with getting these guys and moving quickly.
Can you imagine him playing against LSU first week of the season in a top 10 matchup? That'd be tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. Hopefully, if he does that, he doesn't play very well.
That'd be Eli Ricks like 2.0.
Yeah, well, Eli Ricks is going to the draft, thankfully. That's good. We only got to see him for a little bit after the year. Where does LSU go here in the linebacker position? Obviously, that you talked about how light they are. DeMario Tolian was probably going to be, on the depth chart as a starter, at least going into spring ball. He's gone. Do they have some targets in mind, the transfer portal that they want to bring in to take over in that linebacker group, or are they going to move Derek Davis Jr. back from safety to running back to linebacker? I actually said that. I was like, shit, maybe he should be an outside backer. I don't know.
Well, I've been banging the Derek Davis to linebacker drum since he stepped on foot as an early enrollee. He's just a little too big to play safety, but we kind of joked when DeMario Tolian entered the portal, we should have just posted an article and it just said, "Who's next?" Derek Davis.
Right.
Just a picture of Derek.
I mean, it seems like he fits that mold, right?
Yeah. I mean, he really does. Somebody, linebacker is one of those tough positions. You see him, really work out when they're undersized and can really run and they add weight. You look back at a guy like Josh White who transferred out. He was kind of in that mold. There was a lot of talk about he would be next. Whit Weeks, I'm watching him this week at the All-America Bowl. He's kind of undersized, from a weight standpoint, but man, he can fly. He's run with a lot of talented players this week so far, and he's an early enrollee, so he's going to get on campus and be able to add that weight. I think Whit has shown that he's somebody that should be considered at least early on right now. You never know until they get to campus, but as somebody who could battle his way right into that 2D and play early as a freshman because of that. Then they signed Christian Brathwaite out of the Houston area, who's a really, really productive true thumper, kind of in that DeMario Tolian mold. Both as high school prospects were really productive on really good teams and really high classifications in their own states. So that's kind of a similar player that's coming in the summer, though. I think they've got to try to find something in the transfer portal. Now, the window still goes until January 18th for guys to enter. So there could be ones that pop up. We've seen guys enter the portal just today and this week and all those things. So maybe someone pops up for them. And then there's also one after May. I think right now, as it stands, doesn't look like there's a ton of linebackers out there around the country. So this is going to be a really kind of a tough scout for LSU. You don't want to take somebody just to take someone, especially, with how your roster is starting to come up with young guys developing and the two you just signed. But at the same token, they've got to find somebody who steps in and provides some immediate competition and contributions out of the portal, in my mind, at least.
Now, Billy, we haven't made it to actual national signing day yet, but as this thing is going and where we are here today, barring nothing crazy like this situation actually happens again and somebody flips, which one of these incoming freshmen in your mind right now do you see making a big impact next year? Not just kind of getting some playing time, actually getting on the field for a sizable amount of snaps and actually making a big impact.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Womack is somebody that you've got to circle at the defensive end spot. BJ Ojolari leaves. Deshaun had just an insane senior year. Really, really productive. Tested well over the summer before his senior year. And he's just backed it up in every setting. He looks the part of a college freshman and somebody that, when he gets there in January can start, working with the strength staff and really putting more mass on so that he can hold up over the course of an SEC season. I just think the world of him. I think he's going to be a star at LSU. He's one to watch. I think Zalance Hurd, the five-star offensive tackle, is playing his way into that. We've just seen him go from being new to the position as a junior and playing alongside Will Campbell and standing out in his own right. We had him as a five-star very early on. And now as a senior, be absolutely dominant. He was incredible at LSU camp over the summer. He was great at All-American. At the Under Armour All-America game this whole week. He earned a top performer nod just as a top offensive lineman overall. He's got the size. I mean, you just try to craft that mean streak and that those special gifts that he has from a physical perspective, and you try to get him on the field early. Emery Jones maybe could slide inside. There's more natural spot. And you could put Lance out at right tackle. I mean, he's just got that true gift of being an instant impact guy in my mind if he gets everything down, playbook wise. And those are the ones that really stand out, along with JV and Tobiano. They recruited him out of the state of Texas and won a really tough recruiting battle. I think he's physically ready to go. He's one of the most physically ready players, if not the most physically ready in this class. I mean, he just looks the part of somebody who's been in the SEC already a couple of years. So he gets everything down and can adjust. He'll be there in January as well. I think he's going to be able to step into that corner room and contribute early on.
This is ignorant of me, but I'm going to ask, did you go to the Under Armour All-American game? I'd imagine they were both in Orlando. I don't know if you went to the LSU Cheez-It Bowl, and then if you went to the Under Armour All-American game, but nobody wanted to ask, so I figured I would step on the sword here. If you did go, what did you see? Obviously, Zalance Hurd, you mentioned Tobiano. What if you could name a couple of other players even
if they aren't coming to LSU either?
Yeah, no, but I guess the best way to put it is whenever you hear a Zalance Hurd that says he wants to play left tackle and he's trying to make a statement. He obviously played with Will Campbell. What were some of the takeaways if you were at the game? I don't know, so it's my fault for not doing my research.
So Shay has said on our podcast that he hates Jesus. Well, I'm going to take the stance here that I hate Jesus so much that I was not there. I boycotted the entire game. But no.
See, I think Billy. After I saw the Cheez-It mascot, I'm on the train. That man was on one. He was on full tilt.
I'm a goldfish guy.
Oh yeah.
Goldfish guy.
Yeah, goldfish for sure. So Shay was down there. Shay was down there for the All-American, for the Under Armour All-American, and did the dual kind of duty. I drew the San Antonio card, so I'm not sure. I like San Antonio more than Orlando. I'll take that and the Riverwalk. But just from kind of what I watched and what our national guys have said, as well as Shay, Zalance is as advertised. I mean, he just really looks the part. He dominated all week. We talked about him Javian had a really good week too. Again, somebody that's physically ready to go. We rank him as a safety, and I think there's a chance he ends up there long term, but he was pretty impressive just from a recovering perspective. I watched all the one-on-one reps that were posted, and he just looked the part. Shelton Sampson got nicked up early in the week, so he didn't get to do much in the game. And then Ryan Yates, who's been on the scene for a long, long time, just a steady presence back there at the safety position. He's physically ready. There are a lot of LSU staffers that were even surprised when they got him to campus for his visits this fall, just how big he actually is as far as length and size and all that. So he's been playing at a very, very high level in Texas and has played good bit of safety as a senior. The plan was he was going to play a ton more and kind of be really groomed and ready for LSU, but he's had to play corner probably 3/4 of the last 2 years due to injuries at Denton Guyer. So he's somebody that's been thrown into the fire as a cover corner at a very high level, and now he's going to move to safety at LSU, and he's another early enrollee as well. So those are kind of some of the guys that were there for LSU and participated.
So I want to get back into the portal a little bit. Now, obviously, LSU's made a bunch of waves on the defensive line. Obviously, they had those, 3 in a row? It was 3 consecutive defensive line commitments. And, you have the whole defensive line was out for the bowl game. Jaquelin Roy says he's going to go into the draft. And so they're trying to replenish, right? You think that they may be done. But you see A&M's transfer Anthony Lucas, right? He's a 4-star. He's a very highly touted defensive lineman. Do you expect LSU to get involved there? Is that somewhere where they may look, or is he going to want to go back home to his home state of Arizona and just kind of go that way?
Yeah, I think Anthony Lucas is one of the hot button guys who is now entered the portal, because for so long a lot of people were expecting this mass exodus from A&M, and one of the players that was circled for a long time was Anthony Lucas, the former top 50 overall prospect. Somebody that Jamar Cain recruited early on when he was at Arizona State. He offered. Brian Kelly recruited him at Notre Dame, had him up on campus for, I think, a couple visits. And then LSU, even before the coaching change, was heavily in the mix for Anthony Lucas. They kind of faded down the stretch when all that broke loose. But, to answer your question, I think they are going to make that call. I don't know if they're going to be able to get him. I don't know if it's even necessarily a great fit. He's somebody that wants to play defensive end, has for a long time. LSU needs another nose tackle type defensive tackle in the middle of my mind. I know they're going to go after true edge rushers still. They've got to restock that position a little bit more. But I think when you look at somebody who's 6'6", 270, and he wants to play defensive end, well, you got to have to balance that then with, what does your roster actually need? So I'm interested to see how the conversations go. There's a lot of familiarity there. He got into a little bit of trouble at Texas A&M, but, it was a good joke. Who didn't?
He's part of the crew.
All kidding aside, he's a pretty good kid. Just probably got into a little bit of trouble down there from what he was a part of that group that was suspended. But
he's a kid, man. He's a kid. It all happens.
Well, he's part of the preseason All-Americans.
Yeah. I mean, it's you learn. You go through your bumps and bruises, and you learn it. Nowadays, right, the way recruiting is, it's pretty intense. Obviously, back in the day, it used to be, hey, you're going to recruit from high school, you're going to recruit from, a little bit of junior college, and you're going to recruit from some of the transfers that either are graduate transfers or they just want to get out and move on, right? Now you have high school, you have transfer portal, you have to recruit your own guys, right? So sometimes the biggest recruits that you have are the guys that you end up keeping or having to come back to school, right? One of those guys is John Emery. Right, he hasn't announced. He hasn't announced that he's coming back to school. It seems like he is going to come back to school. He posted a picture of him re-upping his deal with Gordon and saying, it's going to be a big 2023. Rumor is that it looks like he's probably coming back. How big is that for LSU, and what kind of went into that decision?
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens with John Emery. And quite frankly, had a couple of NFL agents.
Well, NHL would have been a wild career change.
Hey, look, the World Juniors are going on here, and the U.S. is playing, so
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Partly reminded, but John Emery is somebody that a couple of NFL agents have reached out about, wondering what's really going on. Because again, like you said, there hasn't been an announcement. Will he go pro? Will he head back to school? Will he head back to LSU? is the question. And right now, I still kind of get the feeling it's a little bit of a holding pattern. The re-upping the deal with Gordon McKernan is big. I'm still interested to see if that follows through. It's kind of like when it's not the same at all, but when Keishawn Butte announced he was coming back, people were like, what? And based on kind of what we were hearing on John Emery, it is still kind of, all right, I want to see it formally happen if he is going to come back. But look, LSU needs him. That's a running back room that I think needs that veteran presence. He's somebody that just can provide that. And this Caleb Jackson, Trey Holly coming in. You got Noah Kane back, but you still have to have somebody that's been there from the start. I feel like and allow Caleb Jackson and Trey Holly to develop a little bit. I think LSU should go after a transfer running back at some point as well.
Really?
That's just my opinion. Just kind of an influx of talent if they can find it, a true game breaker to add into that fold while Caleb Jackson develops. They've got 5 scholarships available. I would use one on a running back if it was me. But I'm not getting paid $96 million.
Well, who else do you think? You said there's 5 scholarships available, right? How do you think those scholarships shake out? If you were what you're hearing from, if you're talking to the coaching staff, obviously not what you want to see. Where do you think those 5 scholarships are going to be allotted to?
I think they go one at defensive end, one at defensive tackle, one at the interior of the offensive line, and then kind of a best available. They've been poking around on some corners. Fentrell Cypress was one that ended up going to FSU. We talked about how well they were recruiting earlier. They already pulled Denver Harris and Zy Alexander out of the portal. But I still think one more corner wouldn't be a bad idea either. So I would say just kind of a best available approach, and that leaves one left. I would take running back. I don't think they're going to do that.
And that was my next question. So they're done in as far as like high school recruiting goes. If they have 5 scholarships left, like they're going to use them all in the portal.
Yeah, I think so. The two high school prospects they were in on, Nicholas Harbor is at LSU. He's all in on playing tight end. It just kind of fizzled out. I kind of expect him to end up at Oregon at this point.
Wow.
And then you've got track and football.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I thought LSU was going to get him. Have you ever heard of a track guy that played tight end? I mean, that's unbelievable.
No.
It's unbelievable.
Not sprinting.
Not a sprinter. Not a sprinter.
Not a sprinter like him. Yeah. No. So Jamel Howard is the other one who's defensive tackle out of Chicago. I think he's going to probably end up at Michigan at this point, but they're going to try to get him on a visit. He's still got some left that he can take. So maybe if they get him, maybe they don't go after a portal defensive tackle because he's a big body in the middle. But that's kind of it from what we're hearing. We'll see if anybody pops up, but I would expect right now the portal's kind of the way to go the rest of the way.
So I'm really interested in your take on the running back room. You really think that they should add another back? What is it that you think another back to this room would actually bring, or how do you think this would bring the room together? I guess I should say.
I just think they're missing a true explosive running back, and I know that's hard to find. It's something that we've seen teams go away from. There always is a kind of a third down back, or they're sharing the load if you don't have a true workhorse in a sense. But I just think that you're missing that with John Emery's battled some consistency issues here and there. Noah Kane, kind of same story. Caleb Jackson is a freshman. Trey Holly is kind of a bowling ball who has a lot of wear and tear on him. Caleb Jackson's probably the one that out of the room, if you look at it, and Josh Williams runs as hard as anyone, but he's not necessarily, again, a game breaker. Caleb Jackson's the one that kind of has that future if it all comes together for him. He's got that verified track speed. He's going to go try to win state this spring. I talked to him around signing day. He's getting back and healthy, but outside of that, they just got some big bruisers. I just think a little bit of explosiveness, a little bit of pop would really, really help. The LSU run game.
Go ask if Trey Hannibal wants to go play running back.
Good Lord.
I mean, that guy's got some juice in there, huh? I mean, he's pretty explosive.
Yeah, he gets going downhill. It's scary. It's scary.
No doubt. Billy, I appreciate your time. One last question. Obviously, you probably don't know the answer. This is all speculation. We don't really know. There's 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Obviously, that is the big is there a controversy? Is there not a controversy? According to Brian Kelly, there is no controversy. Jaden Daniels is quarterback one, which I think we all agree in this room specifically that's how it should be. It's his job to lose. Obviously, Nussmeier is running out of time in his college career. Do you see after spring practice, or even at spring practice, do you see LSU having all three of those quarterbacks still on campus?
As of right now, I do, and I think it's not politics that's being played by Brian Kelly, and it's not an open competition. And those things, I think, in my opinion, are true. You've got Jaden Daniels, he's a starter. You've got Garrett Nussmeier, who in his last two outings has shown what he can do, and when it all comes together for him, still he's got to make sure he doesn't turn the ball over. Jaden Daniels, you want to see him push the ball down the field more. Walker Howard still has a bright future in my mind.
Yep.
And he's very, very young. So I think you kind of take him out of the, well, could something happen there equation as of now. And the way Brian Kelly's played it, he's been pretty honest with Garrett Nussmeier. And it's tough. Would have been tough to see LSU go in a different direction that late in the regular season after the A&M game or what have you, because Jaden was the one who got him there. So when Garrett got his opportunity, he took advantage of it in both of the opportunities that he got in the last two games. And I think that said a lot, and I think in terms of LSU's staff and how they're handling it, they're saying, look, Jaden's our starter. And that, I think, makes sense to everyone, and like you guys said in the room that you guys are sitting in, it makes sense. But Garrett Nussmeier has a chance to challenge and keep improving and keep showing what he can do. And if Jaden Daniels doesn't necessarily bring what they need him to take this team to the next level, I don't think they're afraid to go to Garrett Nussmeier, especially now after the last two games. And Brian Kelly's kind of shown that in his career. He's not afraid to play second quarterback, sometimes even three. This is I don't think it's a competition for who's going to start necessarily, but it's a competition, and I would say that's kind of across the board at all the positions. I know it's cliche, but they backed it up. When someone isn't performing well, they've given opportunities elsewhere, and I think the quarterback position is no different.
That's how it should be.
They're all on the roster. Yeah, absolutely. And guys can progress and develop, and you've got 8 months until fall camp, so there's a lot of time for that to happen.
And that you kind of hit on what I was going to ask, but don't you think that was a little bit, I don't want to say odd, but to be able to see the way that they worked Nussmeier in almost unnecessarily, I would say, like they put him at a spot in the game where it wasn't necessarily over. And Brian Kelly's track record with playing multiple quarterbacks. Is that something that you feel like, I don't want to say was promised to Garrett Nussmeier? You see the way he loves LSU. Like, you see him on the sidelines. He does the Cheez-It, like, gets the room, gets the NIL deal, I guess, for, a week. But is that something where it's almost he doesn't want to leave, but then you see the talent that's being played out where Brian Kelly's not afraid to start too?
Yeah, I think so. And look, I mean, Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier both hosted recruits during the lead stretch. Man, I just talked to Maureen Pimpton, and Jaden Daniels was his host. So these guys are all in on LSU and what they're doing. In my mind, look, even if Garrett Nussmeier did decide to leave, it doesn't mean he's out on LSU and he hates LSU. I mean, he claims Lake Charles is his hometown. That's right there on his profile. That's he's a Louisiana guy, and so I think that. It's just one of those things where it will eventually work itself out. I don't always think it has to be black and white where, well, Jaden Daniels is going to start again next year, so Garrett Nussmeier is going to leave the day the season ends. And, who knows? He could enter the portal tomorrow, but I don't think that's happening at this point. But, that's kind of the crazy world we live in. But I think they're going to battle it out, and I think it makes sense for all the parties involved.
If you just to speculate real quick, if he were to enter the portal, where would you see him going? No, I know. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it seems like he's SEC talented, like SEC caliber. It might be a TCU.
That's what I kept saying. That's what I think.
There's also a world where I see him going to Ole Miss. Like, is that the level of talent in which he is? Like, those are the people that are calling.
I would say if he entered the portal, I would bet you he'd go to TCU.
I agree. I mean, his boy's there. His dad's in Dallas. Like, it just makes too much sense.
Yeah. They need a quarterback next year. Jalen Morris, isn't it?
Well, let's keep that here, okay? Let's keep that hush hush.
I'm pretty sure
it.
If he's thinking about it, it's on his mind.
No. I know.
I guarantee he's not sitting at home like, God.
I'm sure he watches our show for all his information. So let's.
You know what? They make so much sense. Let me call my dad.
Billy, man.
I mean, Garrett Nussmeier stopped by SMU one Sunday night. So he's on a little board somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, I appreciate you coming on. I know it's been a busy, hectic last month or so, and it's only going to get busier for you. But we always appreciate your insight. We always appreciate you coming on the show. We'd love to have you on as much as you like to come on, and we appreciate it, man. Go get some rest.
Anytime, fellas. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you, man. Boy, so there's no linebackers in the portal. What are we going to do? I'm telling you, Derek Davis Jr. is going linebacker. He's going to go.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I said that when they moved the running back. I was like, he's going to go back to linebacker.
Let me start converting some people here.
I mean, that's the only other guy that I can imagine.
It's a weird thing though. Wasn't that this guy transferring is not what was expected at all, and he was like everyone said, like he was going to play a lot next year. So it's kind of weird to see that's kind of where this thing is, and
it has to be
money.
Yeah. I mean, I know like Billy can't speak on it, and I can speculate on it as much as anybody could. But
sure, Billy can speak on it.
Yeah,
why not?
I mean, they don't. You don't.
It's not taboo anymore.
Yeah, but you don't want to. I guess he doesn't want to be wrong.
Yeah, if he doesn't know, right?
Yeah, but how much are you getting somewhere else to say I'm out? You know what I mean? Like that's
after when you're going to be a star and you're a guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like
talked about a lot throughout the course of the year.
That's my point. Like that's why it leads me to believe that it's not money, because it's like. It's hard for me to believe somebody else is saying we're gonna throw so much money at you to where it's like, yeah, dude, I gotta go. Like, there's why would I be here?
It just feels it's so out of left field for him to leave for essentially no reason. Whenever he was getting playing time, it's at a position of need. I just don't understand. I don't know. You know, it's obviously LSU's been going through it recently, and there's been some rampant speculation about the off the field stuff. I don't know. I don't like you didn't hear his name, but I'm just saying there's something that
don't put that in the.
I'm just saying there's something that happened because Demario Tolian should have been happy. Like he was getting playing time as a freshman on a team that is loaded.
I mean, agreed. I don't know. You never know. There's always there's a bunch of different reasons of why he could go. Maybe maybe he does want to go back home. Maybe that's where he wants to be in Florida, and that's something I don't know.
And that could be the other point of why it is money is because Florida is going through it right now, also where they need to get some players. You see,
I'm saying the state of Florida, not necessarily the University. of Florida.
Me too. Like both Miami and UF are both trying to get into this game where it feels like they've been left behind a little bit, and it's like, okay, how much do I need to drop whenever you see a Colorado and Deion Sanders, and it's like, damn, look how fast they're moving and able to. Yeah. He hires away Nick Saban's best.
You're not wrong, but the only thing that throws me off of that thought process is like the people that are making these money decisions too. Like they're not dumb, you know what I mean? Like they're not just blindly throwing money at anyone. Like it's hard to say, hey, well, he didn't get on the field or he wasn't doing this as much over there. Let's way overpay to get him back over here when we don't know what we're getting. You know, like that's hard for me to believe that that's where this thing is.
Right.
So like that's why I'm like that's where the money thing kind of comes in for me, where it's like I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, and that's an easy way. That's an easy thing to just like it's probably money. Well, you don't know. You know what I mean? Like unless they come out and say, oh yeah, it's money. Like that's you just don't know, and it's not. There's other reasons why somebody would move. Maybe
he's got some family stuff going on.
I don't know. You never know. But
if it is true that John Emery is coming back, and then
that would be a big troll job if he does that and doesn't come back.
I don't think Gordon gets played.
Or maybe
I know that's what I'm saying.
But when it comes to him though, he could have a deal in place that says, "Hey, look, if I'm here, this is what we got.
Yeah.
If I decide to leave,
but I would imagine you just wouldn't post. You know what I mean? Like sign it.
I mean, if you sign a deal, if the deal's there,
I guess.
Are you? Y'all can speak to this more than I can. Obviously, are you able to? Is it more like the NBA Combine now with the NFL, where you're able to kind of get your draft stock evaluated and then
you can do it, but you can't.
Out.
So the NBA draft, you can go through all of the pre-draft stuff.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. In NFL,
There's a deadline where you have to withdraw your name or announce you're coming back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and it's before.
Yeah,
it's before any of
but I'm just saying, for John Emery's case, like he'd be able to get some.
Oh, he already knows where he's.
Well, they already know that. Yeah, they've already
gotten
gotten grades and kind of figure all that stuff out already.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people are like scouts are calling about him. Obviously, he's very. We knew he was going to be intriguing, right?
Yeah.
He's a highly rated running back coming out. He's a 5-star running back coming to LSU. He's super explosive. He has a lot of, big moments at LSU and some good game tape. He just hasn't been on the field consistently.
That was why I asked Billy about it, because I was like, man, And I get it, man. Like he's been here a while and he hasn't been on the field consistently for multiple reasons. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if you could somehow keep that guy healthy and keep him on the field, he's as explosive as you're going to get there.
He said he wants someone that's explosive. Yeah. That's it.
I'm about to say he's a guy if he can stay on the field.
Right.
He just hasn't done that in his time here.
Right. That's why I brought up the Trey Hannibal thing because, boy, that guy he's 6'2", 215.
Yeah.
Trey Hannibal, obviously, where I'm making a quick jump to basketball, but like he looks like a running back.
Oh my God.
He's a monster. Gets to the rack anytime he wants.
He's got shoulders you don't see in basketball.
His tip in,
boulders,
and he's got like that I'm physical, like I want to run you over type.
Yeah.
But that tip in he had over all of the trees up down there in the paint, like
he got touch,
bro. He's 6'2", and I mean that ball, he was way above the rim to bring that up, right? And like obviously, I don't want to get too far away, but I mean that's LSU basketball, and that happened last night, and it's something that I enjoy watching basketball. I enjoy basketball, and I think that LSU basketball hasn't been talked about enough. I think they should be talked about. I think that I think they said on the broadcast they're the 26th ranked team in the country. They just missed the top 25. I would imagine that loss does nothing to move them back. They're going to have all of the games necessary in front of them to show how good they are. They have a tough schedule. Part of that schedule, and we have a special for the people here that listen to our show, that watch our show. I mentioned
subscribe to the show.
Subscribe to the show. I mentioned that I won money last night on LSU. I bet plus 10.5. Obviously, they lost by 3, so I covered that bet and I won my money, right? And if you would like to win some money, and not only if you would like to win some money,
not even money,
if you would like to win some tickets, right, to an SEC game, we're your people. We're your guys. You listen to us. You watch us. And good things happen, right? And part of those good things are getting 2 free tickets to the LSU-Florida game on January 10th, right? This is a Caesars, our friends at Caesars Sportsbook. This is a promotion that we are partnered with them with. If you do not have the Caesars Sportsbook app, this is how you qualify to win the tickets. If you do not have the Caesars Sportsbook app, or if your wife does not have the Caesars Sportsbook app, you go ahead and you download that Caesars Sportsbook app.
Your kid doesn't have the
right?
Caesars
Even
Sportsbook
if
app.
Oh, he has to be old enough.
The one that's in college.
Yeah, get the kid that's in college. I'm willing to bet the kid in college probably already has it. But if you don't have it, or someone close to you does not have it, go ahead and download it. When you download it, type in MMBB-full. And by doing that, as your first bet is risk-free up to $1,250. If you win, I'm very happy for you, and you get to cash in all that money that you won. If you do not win, that money that you bet gets put back into your account as in the forms of betting credits, right? So you cannot lose, and you have the ability to use those betting credits to win more to win more games, to win all of your money back. And not only do you have the chance to win those games, you have the ability to win 2 tickets to go watch LSU basketball play at home against Florida, which obviously
sounds like a lot of winning.
A lot of winning. In the last 2 games, if you
can't lose.
If you haven't watched LSU, they've been very exciting and very fun to watch, and the PMAC is very fun to be at when LSU is good, and they are good. So, reminder, Caesars Sportsbook, the app, download it if you do not have it. Once you download it, you type in MMBB-full, and you make your first bet. Whatever you want, up to $1,250, you get risk-free back if you lose. I hope you win, and you don't ever have to use that risk-free bet. But if you do happen to lose and something happens and you get a bad beat, similar to the Iowa State. No, what game was it? Not Iowa State. It was the fumble recovery for the touchdown. It was an SEC. Mississippi State. It was Mississippi State.
The Pirate.
Yeah, Mississippi State.
One more time.
If you have a bad beat and you're upset that you lost, well, good thing is you have those credits back to bet. Risk-free up to $1,250 based off your first bet. If you bet $500 and you lose it, you get $500 worth of credits. If you bet $5, you get $5 worth of credit. But that's not the most important part of this whole promotion. The most important part of this promotion is being able to win 2 tickets to the LSU Florida basketball game at home on January 10th. We are going to post this on our socials. And reminder, you have to. The only way you can enter is if you do not have this. We're trying to work on how to make this a little bit better for the people that already have it. But if you do not have the app and you want to win these tickets, you download the app and you make one risk-free bet using the promo code LSU. Wait, I don't want to give you the right one. I messed it up. MMBB-full, not LSU. Promo code is MMBB-full.
It's on the lower third.
On your ticker.
It is on the lower third. That's it.
And
Somehow I got there. I brought it all the way back somehow.
You did great. Despite our best efforts and how dumb we may seem, we have two of the three people, I don't know Jay Mitch's betting history, but two of us are climbing.
We are climbing. Hey, listen, my other bet of the over/under wins has not cashed in yet. I think. Let me look at what I have. Right now.
Because it has become like I took LSU yesterday.
Let's see
also,
what this count looks like.
I've been on a hiatus for a while.
I know you get back in it. There's money to be made out there.
I've been on a hiatus for a while.
Basketball is. I enjoy betting basketball.
I've been live betting all the bowl games because I'm not.
I don't watch the bowl games.
Yeah, we.
The first couple weeks of the NFL season just
So I will be
three
just
for a loop.
wasn't good. I was like, you know what? We just go chill.
Oh, and speaking of, our guy Zach Ewing that comes on from the Advocate
Mm-hmm.
just won.
Yeah, I saw the story.
$100K.
I saw it on a Survivor pool.
So that's why you got
Wow.
like he took the opposite of everything that everybody was doing, and it worked out perfectly for him to where he didn't take any of the favorites. He went the opposite way.
Well, this was the year to do it because there
it
was
was
so
a
many
wonky
underdogs.
NFL
Yeah.
year, but shout out to the guy. I mean,
Shout out.
$100K. I'm not showing up for shit.
Shout out, no doubt. I mean, 100K is you're not gonna live on that.
That's what
Well,
I was like.
no,
wait,
I'm
what?
saying, like, yeah, if you're the Advocate, you got to be like, this man might be on a hiatus for a minute. Like, I'm going to Vegas.
You get after taxes, you get $50,000, which is still a lot of money. Still a lot of money.
I don't pay those.
But you have to. I mean, you can't hide that. They know that you won that. It's all. There's a big paper trail behind you, Lloyd. Not cash money records. You know what I mean? But
Lloyd's
I hope
like,
you all use the app and download the app and win
You think they're looking for
$100,000.
me?
Huh?
They're not looking.
You
for
just
me.
rained all over his parade just now. Lloyd was like,
Just saying.
no way that just
I
happened.
got a ticket, and I thought I had a court date yesterday. Boy, was oof! Talk about panic. I
Whoa.
was like, oh man, it's already too late. It's probably at like 9 a.m.
You know what?
11 a.m. And I was like, ooh, I got to go see. Not till February. So anybody
You know, it'd
that
be really nice. There he is.
I said, who's that?
You know, it'd be
So-
really nice to win the Mega Millions. Right now, it's almost at $1 billion again. So if you're gonna go and win something, that'd be nice to win.
You think?
Then you can go and quit the Advocate and quit the show or whatever. I hope you
I
not
wouldn't
quit the
quit.
show.
No, that's what I was about to
Actually,
say.
the show would be way
This would be
better.
the only thing he would do.
The show would be a million
This would
times
be the
better.
only thing you would get him
No
to show
doubt.
up for. Maybe not on time, but he'd be here.
The show would be a million
Pop in,
times
pop
better.
out.
No doubt.
Good luck
No
getting him
doubt.
here on time.
Still can't do it.
Speaking of money, bro, MLB is throwing out some cash, boys.
Boy, yeah, they are.
Some cash. They are. You sign the CBA. Obviously, if you pay attention to baseball, even if you're just a casual fan of baseball, you heard a lot of the drama that was going on through COVID and up until the lockout that the owners don't make enough money. They lost all this money during COVID. How are they going to pay the players? There's no way. Like the players are asking for too much.
They made
blah,
it back
blah,
in
blah,
a year
blah,
and a
blah.
half. That's
Right?
all. That's
and
all.
they didn't even lose all that much money during COVID. I think they were still in the black. They weren't. And they weren't in the deficit. But you sign the CBA. You come to the agreement. Everybody says, "Okay, we're done fighting. We're gonna put the gloves off. We're gonna compromise. We're gonna get this deal done." Right? Okay, they get the deal done. And all of a sudden, all the owners saying, "You get $300 million. You get $300 million. You get $300 million. You get $300 million." All of a sudden, they got all
You
this
get
money.
a car. You get a car.
Put $1 in, won a car. Put $1 in. Well, okay, I got it. You don't know that movie, Vegas Vacation.
Oh, I'm not a big.
That's right. We talked about this. But my whole point is, all of a sudden, they have all this money. They know what they're doing with the money, and they're not afraid to spend the money. Well, that obviously makes me feel like there is a little bit of collusion. Hey, let's make sure this market stays really low before the CBA so we can get our way and we can still continue to be greedy, rich, and not have to pay our players what they need to pay. But instead, now that we lost or we didn't lose or we kind of got in a stalemate, you signed the CBA. All right, now we can get off our wallets. We can pay all these players the money that they deserve and that they've earned. And, good for the players. Good for the guys getting money. Devers signed an 11-year, $331 million deal. Now, obviously, Rafael Devers is very young. He's a third baseman for the Boston Red Sox. He's going to be the cornerstone of their organization. He is young enough to where that 11 years isn't going to put him into his 40s like some of these other 10-year deals are doing. But it just goes to show you that MLB owners aren't as poor as they make themselves out to be. And I love that there are some owners in Major League Baseball right now, a la Steve Cohen, a la the owners for the Padres who are spending all their money because what do they want to do? Win. You know what the Padres owner says about spending all that money? You know why he spends all that money? Oh, it's okay because if we're winning and we fill up the seats and we win the World Series, we're going to make all that money back plus more. What'd you think? What'd you hear that? That's amazing.
Everyone,
that thought process.
Everyone hates like the Yankees, like, oh, the evil empire. They just buy championships. Well, they do have the most.
They have the most.
So they might have something right with the formula.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Are they the most profitable team in all of baseball?
They might.
Yes
I would believe that.
They might have
the Yes
something
Network
right.
helps it, but they obviously, when you win, you bring money. That's what happens. So obviously, I don't want to get too much into the Major League Baseball conversation. We will have plenty of time to talk about baseball throughout the course of spring and
on the
summer.
horizon. It's coming.
And, the boys of
A
summer.
lot
we
of
have
people in the chat asking about what our plans are for the LSU baseball season. A lot of eyeballs is all I'm sending.
We got a lot of good things happening for the baseball season. I'm glad that'll give us a little talk.
Could be some moving parts and all.
We're gonna have some
You just
moving
never
parts.
know.
Listen, we have, fortunate enough, me and Jared have been able to build some relationships throughout the course of the SEC. Right, we know coaches at different schools. You know, players that played at different schools that are playing at a high level in Major League Baseball. We have friends that are coaching at other schools. So we are going to have some access around SEC baseball that a lot of people don't really have, right? And we're going to take the way we look at baseball and the way we talk about baseball, and we're going to take that version and talk about everything. Now, obviously, 90% of that is going to be LSU baseball. LSU baseball has an extremely talented team. We just told you they're ranked number 1 in perfect games poll that came out today. Right, they've been ranked 1, 2, or 3 within all the polls that have come out. So
they've been number 1 in every poll that's come out.
Every poll.
There's only 2 of the big 4.
I saw one that had Ole Miss at number 1.
I don't think that was one of
I don't know what poll that was.
4.
I don't know what poll that was, but they've been ranked number 1 on all the major polls. They have a lot of hype to it. I told you, preseason polls don't really mean anything. You have to go out there and win. But if you enjoyed our baseball coverage last year, which, hey, listen. Our show, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of our show. We almost made it for 1 year. January 17th was our first show last year, right? We jumped right into the deep end, and we jumped right into baseball season. New coach, a lot of new players on the team. How are we going to get this going? What are we going to start doing? And we just said, you know what? We're just going to wing it. We're just going to put ourselves out there and figure it out. And I feel like we did a pretty good job. We weren't ready for some of the big stuff that we did, but we did it, and we got through it, and we gave you a good product. And part of that was Jay Johnson being so generous with his time and being on our show every Monday for about 2.5 months during the baseball season. That is going to continue. Obviously, it's not. It may not be on Mondays. We are still ironing out some of the details, but Jay loves to come on the show. He loves to talk baseball, and we are in conversations right now about how to make this work and how to give you more baseball content throughout the course of the year. So keep your eyes open. It's happening. It's coming really soon. It's January 4th. The boys start, I think, real team practices starts in the 17th or something around those lines in a couple weeks.
School starts, which is the 17th.
So our 1-year anniversary, baseball starts back up. That's weird how that all works out.
Suck me.
So they start, then their first game is February, usually the middle of February.
44 days.
Yeah, whatever that is. But we will have a ton of baseball coverage for you. We will be maybe going to some road games. Maybe we're going to have some really cool stuff. Open to suggestions if you have any.
Yeah, we need to have all.
The boys might make their way around the SEC.
We're going to try.
It's possible.
We need to have Coach back on soon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's after the holidays. We're good. He had some conversations.
I haven't heard from him in a while. I'd like to see,
All right,
we'll check in with my guy.
We'll make it work. But to answer the chat's question, yes, baseball is going to be a lot of fun. And
You better get a whole lot of mic'd up.
I'm not trying to brag, but I'll brag a little bit on us because I think we've earned it, and there's nobody else around us, this area.
You got 2 All-Americans
SEC
talking about LSU
that's going to
baseball.
talk.
How about me? And
That's
Logan
going to
say
talk baseball like we're going to talk baseball. You're not going to get. Everybody can go and look at the stats, and everybody can go and talk to the interview the players and talk about and ask the questions that everybody wants to hear. But you're not going to get the real baseball questions and the
nuances,
insight that we are going to ask and bring. So if you're into that kind of
Y'all
stuff,
made Paul Maneri cry.
I mean,
we have that effect.
y'all
You made Jay Johnson laugh.
2 of the
What a swing.
y'all are the part of the last team that won the whole damn thing here. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think
been too long. What the hell?
It has been too long. 100%.
I'm not.
I think that's the common. That's the common mindset of everybody from our team.
want
too.
them to win it.
I think people kind of think it's kind of been long enough.
We're not in the camp of saying, "Oh no, we want to be." No.
Y'all don't want to be the last
No,
ones to
I
win
don't
that.
care about it.
No,
No,
y'all go ahead. Listen, we've had our time in the sun, It's been a long time. They deserve another one, and they should win one this year. I believe that.
How much pressure has he put on? I mean by Jay, but with the noise that he made, and obviously LSU being ranked as highly as they are in nearly every poll. I mean, this is something that they have to welcome, right? Like, that's the message that he's putting in the locker room is like, look, I'll always go back to his press conference at the end of whenever they lost in the regional, and he looked like,
yep,
this ain't ever happening to me again.
With great expectations come great responsibilities, right? And I think he embraces that, right? So obviously they are supposed to be very good, but let's just key in on those words, supposed to be, right? The talent on paper, the guys coming back, all of the preseason All-American teams, like all of that kind of stuff, that's all great. It shows you that they have the talent and the capabilities of being as good as they want to be. But you have to go out there and you have to play. Listen, sports are baseball in particular is a very finicky sport. Anything can happen. Anybody can win any given day. A&M wasn't supposed to be as good as they were last year. They ended up being the top 4 team.
One of the last 4 teams.
Bianco was supposed to be that good, and they were never that good until
and
the
then
end
they
of
were the last
year.
team in. They ended up winning the championship. And so you just never really know it all. There's injuries happen. Guys get in slumps. Baseball is a very hard sport. I don't think, obviously you never know injuries. I think that these guys are focused. They're ready to go. I think Jay Johnson is embracing these expectations, and I think that his mentality and the way he is going about all these expectations is rubbing off on the guys. They know what's going on. They see what's happening with the social media and all of these preseason rankings, but I don't think that matters to them. I think that they want to go out there. They have a lot of guys that aren't going to be here next year. They're going to go on into professional careers, and I think that they're ready to go out there and say, this is our time. I'm sick of not being in Omaha. I'm sick of not winning the national championship. We have all the pieces ready. Like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to go out there and we're going to win. We're going to play well. So I think that you're going to see a very, very good product on the field, and I don't think you're going to see the rankings and the hype really get to their heads. At least that's my opinion. We'll have a lot of the guys on throughout the course of the year, and it seems like they have a really good time when they come on here. So we'll have a lot of baseball content for everybody.
Excited to talk to my guy Coop again.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I wonder what his role is gonna be like with all the guys they got coming in.
Gamer.
I mean, he'll probably be the long guy out the pen, I would imagine. Lefty matchups. I know he's Jay's guy, so he's got the trust in Jay, right? Like Jay's trust him a lot.
If you were on deck and you saw him come in, what would your first thought be? Like, if you didn't know him and you just saw him, you'd be like, I'm about to hit him. I'm about to take this 500 feet. Yeah. And that's not the case. He just gets people out.
He knows what he's doing. And he probably used that against them, right? Like, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna try to hit this ball a mile
to keep the body the way it is.
I mean, hey.
So you're saying he's not in shape? I can't wait till he comes in here again.
He knows what he looks like.
I can't wait until he comes in here again. I bet you won't say that to him.
So just to put it into perspective, right? Obviously, you had a bunch of guys coming back to LSU that were very talented baseball-wise. Like, you have Dylan Cruz, you have Trey Morgan, even Gavin Dugas came back. You have all these guys. Grant Taylor's projected to be a first, second rounder. Like, you have all these guys that are coming back that are very talented and very good. On top of that, you go into the portal and you bring Tommy White, who was rated number 1 on the transfer portal list, right? You bring him in. He's a sophomore, so you get him for 2 years. You bring in Paul Skeens, who is number 2 on the transfer portal list.
So you got 1 and 2.
You get 1 and 2. He comes in. He's projected first rounder. He is the college version of Shohei Ohtani. He throws 100 and hits home runs. Like, that's what he does. He is projected to be a first round pick. Then you bring in the number 7th rated portal transfer, and Thatcher Hurd, pitcher from UCLA. He has 2 years left in school. And then you bring in the number 29 rated transfer portal guy in Christian Little, and Christian Little's projected to be second, third rounder. So you bring in 4 guys in the portal that are ranked in the top 30, 3 of them ranked in the top 10, to add on to.
I was about to say, if you just had those alone, you'd be like, oh, we're set up for a good year.
Yep.
But you're adding them to already.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you have Grant Taylor's projected first, second round, and you have Ty Floyd is projected second round. Mm-hmm. So you have 2 guys already coming in with some experience.
With 2 other preseason All-Americans.
Right. Plus, you have other pitchers that came in here. Bryce Collins did really well. His velo's up. And obviously, the biggest recruit of all, I think, is Wes Johnson coming in from the big leagues, right? Because all these guys were talented, but do you have a guy who can put it all together for them? And I think he's doing that.
I told you, I heard from a source very, very, very close to the program that he's never seeing a pitching staff in college this deep.
Listen, I heard
and this source has been around college baseball for a long time.
I heard that when it's all said and done, when all these guys are gone, like whenever they're leaving LSU, they have a chance to have 5 first-rounders just on the pitching staff alone. Mm-hmm. At least 5. And that's not counting the offensive guys. So that shows you how deep.
If you don't know too much about college baseball, based off of that alone, just off of that alone, I don't even have to speak to the offensive side of the ball. Based off of that alone, you are setting yourself up to be very, very, very good when your pitching staff is that deep in college baseball.
It's going to be a fun baseball season. I can't wait to talk about it. Lloyd, during baseball season, is very chirpy on baseball because he loves baseball. Then we start talking baseball, and you don't say anything.
I'm trying to be better.
What do you mean? No, baseball. This is a conversation. Let's have some conversation about it. Do you have any thoughts on the baseball season? Here's pessimist Lloyd.
Fuck. Everything that happened with Tennessee and how I don't think LSU has that same kind of mentality in terms of like they had some big like we're better than everybody energy like halfway through the year. I don't want LSU to enter that kind of territory, but I do want to play with that chip on their shoulder because like you guys said, it's been far too long. 2009 was the last time that LSU won a national championship. You have the reputation. You are, as when you talk about blue bloods in college basketball, LSU is the stalwart for college baseball, and it's been almost 13 years since LSU has they got close against Florida. You lose Eric Walker, and then just the way that things have played out, you haven't been able to win a natty. And like you said, it's very hard to do it, and I feel like there's part of me that is pessimistic that says because it's so hard and all of the flowers that LSU is getting, it makes me nervous for Jay Johnson and the target that he's put on his back.
It's hard to say they should win. They should go to Omaha and make a deep run in Omaha, and then at that point,
I say this. It's hard to say they should win. It's hard for me to also believe that they won't be one of the last 8 teams remaining.
Right.
Which means you're in Omaha.
Is that still a success to you?
Is it a success? We talked about this. It depends on how it happens. They go 2-Q? No, it's not at all. They go 1-2. I'm still kind of like, not really. I expect them to get there and play well there, which I think would, get them past the
biggest game in Omaha is the first game.
Yes.
If you get through that first game and you get
but we say that here's the thing though. We say that and based off of what I just said about that pitching staff that they have this year, if you lose that first game, I don't think there's ever been a staff that's set up to go through.
I agree,
situation
and I say it's the biggest. The first game's the biggest game, not because of you have to get through the losers bracket. That's not why. I think it's the biggest game because you get through that game and you can say,
yes, you can exhale.
Right, we're here, right? Now you lose that game and you put, whether you want to believe it or not, whether it's subconscious or not, you put added pressure on yourself saying, okay, we are better than this. We don't need to go 2-Q. And it's just, it makes the mental part of the game a little bit harder. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but
I'll just say this. Going to it twice and being in a situation where we lost first, and then for me, the mental part of it, that's cool. That's all great. But setting up a pitcher staff, like I know when we were there your freshman year and you put the 3 horses we had on the mound, we felt like you could have put the Yankees in there. Hey, we probably got a chance. When it's not that, it becomes tough. That's where the mental side of it comes. Well, you take this team now, who is as deep as they are, and I feel like those guys won't be in a situation mentally where they're like, oh my God, we got to play here today because we don't have our horses on the mound. I think they got a lot of those guys this year. So I think you're going to find a team, if they find themselves in that situation, that it's not going to be like most teams in that situation.
It's not only that, to me, it's the added expectation of going into this year. It feels like...
But that's what you want.
Yeah. For sure.
Everywhere. You only come to school here because that's what you expect.
No, but I feel like there's going to be added eyes that haven't really paid attention to baseball because of all of the offseason hype and all the people that they added.
Well, I mean, it's not Tennessee.
I think it goes other way, though. I think you look at that as a concern. I look at that as an advantage. I look at that as if I was a player and I was here and I was going into this year and there's added pressure, there's added eyeballs, and people are hyping us up. Like, I love that. Bring that, because it's not going to affect the way that I prepare, and I don't think it's going to affect the way these guys prepare, and that's a credit to Jay Johnson. I think what it's going to do is it's going to motivate them, and it's going to get them excited, and it's going to make the games matter more in the sense of like, damn, we're going to go out there and look at all these people that are here to see us. Like Jeter said it in his documentary. All these people paid all this money to watch me play. So I'm going to make sure that I'm out there every single day unless I can't walk to play, because I'm going to give them what they paid for. I think that they're going to take that mindset. I'm going to go out there and put on a show.
I think this hype and all of this that they're getting through the course of the whole season, I think you end up seeing a better product in these midweek games that they play. I think you end up seeing a sharper team on the weekends when they play, simply because they know the target that's on their back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't think it brings them to a situation where they're like, they kind of, I guess, burrow into a corner. I think it's going to end up bringing out the best of them.
I also think it's going to bring the energy back to Alex Box.
Yeah.
Like we talked about last year, like, oh, it got pretty good towards Ole Miss and stuff, but like it's usually every weekend.
Yeah.
It's packed out. I think
Well,
we'll see that this year.
And if you want to make the adjustments to the stadium that a lot of fans are asking for, that we think that needs to happen, I think that Jay wants to happen, you go out there and you win this year, it's going to be a lot easier to go and ask, say, hey, give me that money.
Yep.
Look what we just did. You see that other championship that we just put on the board? We're going to go. You see because last year was the first year we didn't get the most fans, right? We lost that stretch.
First time
in like 20-something years.
Oh, yeah, a long time.
And so, like, hey, look at what we did. We've built this back up. We're at where we need to be. I'm saying it was down, but, like,
It felt stagnant.
you didn't have to build it up. It was just, okay, it was like a sleeping giant. Like, why everybody just kind of got complacent. Now you have this hype, you have this team. You go out there and you win. You add championship number 7 to the board, and
It's a lot easier
now,
to get those bullpens, man.
Absolutely. So
and I feel like you can see that LSU. It feels like a little bit of a changing of the guard, obviously, when you hire Scott Woodward and what he's done with the staff that he's put in place. You see it even with Matt McMahon. Like, I don't think he expected to see that crowd in Arkansas. LSU is. It feels like the fan base is bought in on almost every sport, because it just feels like you're in such a different place now, to where everything feels a little bit more consistent. You bring in Kim Mulkey, you talk about asking for change. She didn't ask for shit. She just did it. And so if you're Jay Johnson, like, there's a page you can take from that book, but whenever you see how much the fan base is even bought into basketball, it feels like it's just a breath of fresh air for LSU. Like, the energy around the entire university has changed.
absolutely. And I think that it's exciting, and it gives a lot of energy, especially to, like, boosters and, with NIL and all that stuff. Like, that's, a tricky thing to navigate as far as, do I want to give to the school or do I want to give to NIL? You know what I mean? Like, but it's brought the excitement back to LSU sports, right? Obviously, football always has it. It's always going to be there. You just, with the 10-win season, and then obviously baseball getting to the regional and kind of falling short and feeling like they kind of underachieved. Now you have the number 1 recruiting class, number 1 transfer portal class, number 1 team preseason in the country. There's a lot of energy that is being put on LSU. A lot of good energy, right?
Good energy.
Yeah, and so it's going to be exciting to see how this team grows. But the guys who are leading the ship, not necessarily the staff, not the coaches, but the players, they're the guys that you want leading it, right? They have the right mentality, the right mindset. They know what they're trying to do. I think it's important to enjoy yourselves a little bit, like, to where you're enjoying your boys and your teammates, and you do a lot of things together. I'm not saying go out there and run the town all the time, but, like, go do some stuff. Go to dinner together. Have parties at people's apartments. Like, those are important. I think it feels like this team does some of those things. No, I don't know.
I think something that's going to end up playing huge for them is, so you bring in such a highly touted transfer portal group, right? With guys that are really, really, really good, have made a name somewhere else, and have a very, very high future perspective, right? It'd be easy for those guys to come in and try to basically, like, if we're talking about those 4 players, try to show, I guess, 4 different ways of doing what they do. But when you already have on the team some very highly touted players, not just older guys, literally very highly touted older guys, they fit in and they form way better into a situation where they don't have to feel like they have to take over the team coming in as the new guy, right? Yeah. So you got these older guys that are here already who are already – I think that sets up a perfect situation for them.
It's a lot of what you've seen with LSU football as well, right? Like, whenever you say – it starts at the top. Like, Brian Kelly has established a culture people are worried about.
But even more here. Think about it. Who was LSU's football's Dylan Cruz before the year?
Kayshawn would be it.
But like, he was your highest talent. But
right.
But he wasn't as proven as.
Right.
So my point is we know what you're going to get out of Dylan.
The culture is the culture.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's different. Like you brought those guys in to be able to follow somebody who works that hard, who has put that much on the back of the baseball card already. Hey, bro, it's your show. I'm here. We just following this lead.
And that's what I feel like whenever Dylan Cruz has talked about being more of a vocal leader and like that, I think that plays into all of that to where he knows that, okay, we've added all of these people through the portal. This is the new age of how kind of college baseball works. But I'm sure he and Jay Johnson had a conversation to say, look, you have to be the one. I know you don't talk a lot. You have to be the one to set the tone for what LSU baseball is, because when you start adding people like they are in the portal, it's easy to lose sight of what LSU baseball is. Like, you can let other people kind of dictate how the program looks, and that's why I feel like Dylan Cruz has been kind of tabbed as, hey, we need you to kind of speak up for what this program is supposed to look like.
And the beauty of baseball, right, as far as building a culture and building a team, like football, you have 85 guys on that team. Right? 85 scholarship guys are in that locker room. That's a lot of dudes, and that's a lot of personalities. That's a lot of, different cultures and different backgrounds that you're coming from, all mixed together in one, right? So it's very hard to get everyone bought in, right? That's why the best coaches do it at the highest rate. Nick Saban, Brian Kelly showing you how quickly he can do it here, and so like you're still gonna have, pockets of guys doing some of their own stuff, but if they all believe in that singular message. With baseball, there's not as many guys on the team, right? You're in the locker room every day, same way as football, but you're playing more games. You're in school, so bringing all these new guys in, especially in the fall, and having games played in the fall, to me, baseball is a little bit easier to build that camaraderie and that chemistry early on and quicker than it is for some of these sports that have big. Same with basketball, right? Basketball's only got 12, 14, 15 guys on their roster, and they're with each other all the time, right? You have inside, everybody's got inside jokes, everybody's laughing at each other. There's got all these things that happen throughout the course of the year, and it's just a smaller group. It's easier, it's more intimate, it's easier to get to know each other. It's easier to get closer that way, and I think that's why you're not seeing a lot of these transfers buck the system and not really fit in, right? Dude, baseball is, everybody's here for a reason. That's to win a championship. And if you buy in, great. If not, get the fuck out. And that's kind of what Dylan Cruz is probably pushing on them, and not necessarily vocally, but, I do. I'm not here just to hang. Like, you ain't here. This ain't a stepping stone right now. Yeah, I hope that you do get drafted in the first round, you get to the big leagues and do everything that you want to do. But this isn't a place where you go just because you want to get drafted. This is a place you want to go because you want to win a national championship, and then if you get drafted after that, that's great.
But the great part, I guess, and to my point to it is, because everything you just said is right, but I think we can all agree, and I think they would all sit in the same room and agree with the same thing is that let's just say they all went out and had their best year. Realistically, like, Skeens is draft eligible this year, right? Mm-hmm. He's maybe the only one because of the two-way ability that could possibly jump Dylan.
Yeah, maybe. On the team?
On the team.
Yeah.
So my point to it is your best player, who is not just like the best player before, when you still bring all these dudes in who are that highly touted, your best player is the one setting the example. That bodes well for a team moving forward. You get what I'm saying? Like that stuff like that is you can't, and I don't know, there's not really a way to manufacture it. It just happened to happen this way this year, right? And that's a good thing for a team that has the expectations that they have.
It's gonna be fun. You're gonna get a ton of baseball coverage. Obviously, that one question sparked a 30-minute conversation on baseball without baseball even starting. So if you're wondering about our baseball coverage, we're ready.
Chopping at the
bit.
You
ain't gotta worry about it. We got you. We got everything that you need.
I'd rather be LSU baseball than Texas A&M football right now, even though LSU took an L. But to hire Bobby Petrino feels like a last gasp for air. I mean,
you
think he still has the neck brace?
Probably has a frame.
You think he has it framed in his office?
What about his friend? You think his friend? You think they're still having contact?
You think they still send each other
You
Merry
think
Christmases?
they have
and stuff?
text messages? They're on a text
Get a
message chain
Christmas
together.
card.
Oh my god.
You want to go for a ride?
Oh boy.
That's tough.
That is tough.
But it just goes to show, like, obviously you don't
Undefeated.
Yeah, but then people can say
undefeated.
Never lost.
But then people can say the same thing about Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, you could.
You know what I mean? Like,
But that feels
you
totally
could,
different.
but it were a little different.
a little same but different.
He was calling those
Yeah.
girls. He was calling that phone
Right.
for recruiting purposes. That wouldn't. I don't think that was for him. I think he.
Yeah, but I think that falls into. I mean, listen to me.
I don't know about all that.
I mean,
If his phone is calling their phones for his
just
recruits
setting up
only,
the party.
and you think that that's not happening on his end, you're naive. And and I know you better than to know that you are not naive. You actually think more of the other way than the naivete.
yeah,
Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
I just feel like Hugh Freeze was more of a party planner than a partier. I'm sure he, everybody gets a slice of cake, but I think he wanted to bake the cake.
Maybe he was a private party guy.
And I know Petrino was
Get on the motorcycle.
in the cake.
Was it a motorcycle or a car accident?
It was a
Motorcycle,
motorcycle.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a motorcycle.
And then he goes to the Atlanta Falcons and leaves in like two weeks, and then calls the Hogs. Like, he's just a mess, and it just goes to show what. That's what I'm saying. It feels like A&M is okay. This is what we have to do in order to maybe compete, and it sucks that LSU lost to him because that's just kind of like a.
They can rub it.
It feels like a dagger. Yeah, it feels like a dagger in the side whenever you just hung almost 70 on Purdue. And it's like, all right, this is what the team was supposed to look like. It was just a perfect storm of losing to A&M. And now, but this is what, it almost felt like this is what they needed a little bit in terms of the offense, because it did not look good. It looked like, I mean, we saw Jimbo with the play sheets. That man was.
Yeah, I mean, and look,
he was fumbling in Himes Hall.
They've got a ton of talent. Obviously, they're going to be ranked in the top 25 next year. They've lost some guys in the portal. Obviously, Denver Harris leaves. He comes here.
They have another guy in the portal.
Their defensive
They've
tackle.
lost the most portal people.
Yeah, they've lost the most portal people, right? But it's not just guys that haven't been playing. It's guys that are very highly touted for them.
But this doesn't help their culture.
No, I mean, no.
He's a changed man.
Hey, everybody can change. Everybody can change. We shall see. We shall see what happens.
Oh man, Carl Dunn with something in the chat. Texas A&M the basketball program, I'd imagine, left their uniforms at the hotel and had to delay the game at Florida tonight. So
wow, that's on
Left the unis at the hotel.
Yeah.
That's tough for the equipment.
What time they
staff.
show up to the game?
is that on the equipment staff?
That's on the equipment staff.
It is, but my point is, but what time they show up? Like, y'all got to get there to warm up and stuff. Like,
You didn't have the uniforms hanging in the locker by the time they were done with the warm-ups?
like we didn't figure. Like, yeah, like when did we figure out that hey, yo, we ain't got the uni? He's like,
Wow.
when did that happen?
I mean, the
Ooh,
only
that's a
thing
swing and miss.
Yeah,
Even
the only
in
thing I
warm-ups, they
think
wear the shorts.
That's a swing and miss. Even if you got the pants on, like you said, like are they not in the lockers an hour before the game? Like when are they there?
In minor league baseball, you have your jersey hung up before
When
the
you
game,
show up.
When you show up, like
At 2:00.
this isn't.
Little League.
No, I mean this is like.
In high school, we had a kid go to. Not only did he wear the wrong uniform, he thought the game was away when it was at home, so he drove himself all the way to Bunkie. And he's like, bro, we're playing at home. I mean, he wasn't a player, so it didn't matter. But it was just like, this kid is lost.
I left my jersey one time at LSU back home because so they pack all the necessities,
They
right?
pack the extras.
But you're in charge of packing
Your shit.
your jersey and your pants, the stuff that you want, right? And I did not pack it for one game, and it was not good. I had to wear like a no-name large
You got
number.
Virginia Tech?
Number
You had to write your
56.
name on the back? Yeah.
No, I didn't even have to write my name. I just had the blank jersey.
What number?
It was I don't even remember. It was a big number.
When did you do this?
I don't remember what game it was. I just remember I
Is this
left
your
it.
freshman year?
What did Paul say?
Yeah. I may have not been playing at the time. I may not have been on the team.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
in the starting lineup yet.
I mean, that's where you just throw the warm-up on.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
nobody needs to know this.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
tough.
I can't.
Please don't
Listen.
let me get in.
So much anxiety. So much anxiety when you pack and you're
Oh
like,
my
oh,
God.
did I forget something? I think I forgot something. I definitely forgot something. Most of the time, you don't forget something. But when you do forget something, it sucks.
It was hard to forget something with Paul. He was notorious for like the longest
The 5-page checklist.
Itemized. I'm talking toothpaste. I'm like, Coach, you work
Wet
by the-
wipes.
everything. He had everything on there.
I mean, obviously, y'all know who I am, so I was not the best at it.
That's tough.
I mean,
It would have been hard for you to miss with that list.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be honest.
yeah.
with
If you give me a list, I could check it
Oh,
off.
his list was strong.
I mean, just ask Sean Ochinko. I had to play in that golf tournament for.
Extra shoelaces. What? Why would I need that?
Yeah, I had to play
Just in
that.
case you
and
never
that
know.
tourney forgot my golf shoes. Played barefoot. Took his money. It's okay. He
Mm.
hasn't talked to me since. I probably should have just lost.
Why?
Why?
Well, because it feels like it fractured a friendship.
No.
Keep fracturing, baby.
No, that's what you can't just give games away.
Yeah.
It's not my
What,
fault.
what is he, your kid?
Well, I felt like we had something good going, and then he calls out. I was the 5th man added or 6th man added, and I show up without golf shoes and play barefoot, and I wasn't supposed to win. I
You
don't
should
think
have just
that's
told
what
him
he
double
thought.
or nothing after.
Yeah.
When's LSU's next basketball game? Is it Saturday?
Saturday, probably.
Are they at A&M?
Yeah, they're on the road.
Let's see.
They don't play at home again
Yep.
until the 10th.
They're at the 10th. That's the LSU Florida game. The tickets that we're giving away. MMBB full.
Hopefully they bring their uniforms.
Hopefully they bring their uniforms. So they got
Or don't.
Saturday, and then they play Tuesday at home against Florida. I think I'm gonna go to that game. I'm gonna try to.
Don't you feel like you kind of? I feel like I missed the boat on the LSU Arkansas game. We had an opportunity
couldn't.
to go.
That was my first one.
We had a show.
Yeah, we were here. He left in the middle of the show. You don't remember?
I know, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like even then, like 8 p.m. That's when the game started.
Yeah, I mean, but by the time
Did
you
you
get
not
there,
like when you saw the atmosphere?
No, I wanted to be there, but we had our show. We couldn't go.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you
I
gotta
had a good
sacrifice.
courtside view.
But with LSU Florida's there's gonna be a good crowd there. You got that 6:00 game there. It's on Tuesday. Damn, we're gonna miss the Auburn game. Fuck.
Why?
Yeah, it's at 6 on Wednesday.
We'll just watch it here.
Watch party.
LSU at Alabama on Saturday, on January 14th. Wow. They have listen.
SEC's tough.
What's January 21st? What day is that?
You have 7 options. What's the one I said?
Oh, y'all gonna be
Oh,
gone?
it's Monday. Is MLK Day?
No, hell no.
It is.
I mean,
no,
you can
no,
technically-
no, that's the
you
week
can kind of
before.
say that.
That's the week before.
What day is it? It's my day. That's what day it is.
21?
Martin Luther King Day's the 16th.
Yeah, it's the week before. It's the week before.
You won't be here January 21st.
That's what he's telling you.
He's trying to throw.
I don't know what day is that though.
He's
What
trying to
what day of the week is that?
Saturday.
Is that Saturday?
Yeah.
I thought that was no.
I'll be here. I didn't.
1920. Oh, it is Saturday.
Me and
We'll
Lloyd
watch
will
the
be
LSU Tennessee game from the comfort of our
there. We didn't get the
hotel.
invites.
And
Oh yeah, y'all will be
Lloyd, he keeps going with it right now.
y'all will be right as rain. I'll call you.
We'll FaceTime you.
I was
it's
dancing.
gonna be good. That's gonna be a good trip. I got new
Oh
sunglasses.
yeah, stop talking about it.
New sunglasses.
Lloyd, we'll text him on Slack.
Yeah, we'll hit you up on Slack.
Yep.
I got new sunglasses. I got what else I got?
You're gonna
Shade
lose
finder.
them.
A new umbrella to walk
I
around
got my
with.
tux in. My tux. I got my.
I got my
tux.
tux.
Oh,
What color are we wearing?
what color?
I mean, classic penguin suit.
Let's think about where were you having the wedding?
Miami.
Where's the destination of the wedding?
Miami.
On the beach, right?
Yeah.
In Cabo.
Uh-huh.
So would you think that if you're on the beach in Cabo, you're gonna wear this dark ass suit?
Are y'all going tan? You going full Obama?
What?
Oh,
You don't remember he got in trouble for wearing the tan suit? That's everybody was fussing at him for. It's like, bro, he's the president.
I never. But we are wearing a tan suit,
when?
tan tux.
When he was the president.
Yeah, but
2016?
just a regular day. Like I'm.
Yeah, he did just a State of the Union, I think, and
In a tan
it
suit?
wasn't decorum. Apparently, it's like he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
All right. How about the Commander starting Sam Howell?
How
This
about
game?
them changing their name?
They're starting Heineke, and they're just gonna put Howell in the game to let him get some snaps.
How about Coach not knowing that they're eliminated from the
I
playoffs?
know it's tough. I love Riverboat Ron too. I hated seeing that.
Why would he ask?
I don't know.
He's
I hate
lost.
seeing that. God, I wish he wouldn't have done
And
that
now-
because he's a great coach and he did a lot of good stuff for this team.
He helped as
You know,
much as he
Boy,
could.
he put out a lot of fires over there this year.
Wow. Sam Howell
Made
may
a
be their
couple
guy,
plays.
huh? He was supposed to be a first rounder. out of North Carolina.
They're
North
supposed to be
Carolina
the
guy,
first
right?
overall
Yeah.
pick. The Howitzer.
Yeah, before the season. But so was Will Levis.
He's still going to be in the top 10, it looks like.
First overall.
So unfortunate.
I'm like, huh? How do we get there?
I haven't been seeing much of mock draft season yet. I guess because the national championship hasn't been over
Once
yet.
that's over, it'll start. It's coming. They've already got to 2.0. I'm sure 2.6 is there, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Kayshawn left for a reason.
There you go. They got to update it again.
I imagine he's not projected in the first round.
No, but I think so.
I don't think so.
Were you shocked by the TCU Michigan game? Because I lost a little bit of coin.
I lost money on it too, but I
Michigan
made
goes-
the bet. I made the bet literally telling myself TCU's going to win this game. Like I made it betting Michigan, and telling myself that I know TCU's going to win this game, but I fought it because I was like, no way. There's no way that they continue to do this, and they did. Right now, obviously Michigan gave it away a little bit. Right, they gave them 2 pick sixes and they fumbled the ball on the inch-yard line, and but TCU also turned the ball over a few times, and Michigan made it a game. It's hard to listen. If you've bet TCU all year, you've won a lot of money. Why? Because no matter how many games they win, Vegas still is not on TCU. They haven't been on TCU all year as far as the spreads go, and they keep winning and they keep covering. And if you just said, I'm just going to bet TCU every which way, you win a ton of money. Now people can say, oh, well, LSU, in 19 and won a bunch of money. Yeah, of course. But after they beat Bama, Vegas loved them, right? Like after that, it was like, oh no, they're gonna be favored for every game. Nobody's gonna beat this team. This team is real. That never happened with TCU. Yep. And now they're in the finals against Georgia, and there's 13.
But they've also
I'm gonna take TCU points, not money line. I'm gonna take the points.
I'm about to say what?
13 and a half.
Money line. I was
I'm gonna take the points.
wow.
That's what I'm nervous about. Is I feel like one stride too far. Whenever you feel like you've been going against TCU all year.
Yeah, I'm with you right
But
now.
I thought that was gonna happen in Michigan. That's why. I'm you know what?
Their
I'm gonna
gamers coach. That
I'm gonna go the
Max
other way.
Duggan is a
Demon.
game time athlete.
I'm gonna go the other way.
I just feel like you get a dominant Georgia in this one.
Yeah,
Like they gave it up against us in the second half. They gave it up this past game. I just feel like you get dominant Georgia this game.
I can see that.
I mean,
I'm still taking.
I know you still took it the other way, though.
13 and a half. Yep.
Until right before the game, you'll
I
throw
just
something
don't
on the
know.
other
Maybe I'll
side.
hedge it. Maybe I'll hedge it.
You'll throw something on the other side.
Maybe
right
I'll
before the
do.
game.
Maybe I'll do. I'm gonna do like the TCU,
Lloyd's over there trying to do
cover,
something right now.
and then maybe do a like a parlay with Georgia, like same game parlay or something. So like I am betting both sides of it, but if I lose one, the other side's gonna be more. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll do some stupid stuff.
Of course. Interesting.
We're winning though. If you want to do some stupid stuff with us, go ahead and download the Caesar Sportsbook app.
come
MMBB
to
full.
Cabo,
What?
Miami. Sorry.
No, we're going to Cabo.
Oh,
The bachelor party was in Miami. A lot of beach time.
yes.
Yeah.
Georgia's here right
Skies.
now, ass naked.
Not a lot of shade for Jared.
Oh, there's plenty of shade. Trust me.
Yeah, he'll find it.
Scout it out, baby.
He'll find it.
Man's gonna fall asleep.
But download the Caesar Sportsbook app. If you've never downloaded, never made a bet, download it. Use the promo code MMBB full, risk-free bet up to $1,250. But the more important part of that is you have a chance to win 2 LSU basketball tickets to the LSU Florida game at home in the PMAC. I will be there. If you win the tickets, come say hello to me. I will say hello back to you, and we can all have a
I will
really good
say hello
time
back to you.
watching LSU win an SEC game. MMBB full. We'll have it on. We'll post it on social media and Twitter and all of those things so that you can see it. So you don't have to listen to me talk about it. You can read it. It's a little bit easier. Good show today, boys.
Good
We
show.
can end it a little early, I think.
I got some seggies if you want them.
Yep, we're gonna do the seggies. We're not doing the Not My Fault. We're going straight to just the curtain calls, which is brought to you by Dozy
How
Plays
about Not My
and the Shirt
Fault?
Partners. We're not doing those anymore. We canceled those.
Well, I'm
We're
just
getting
gonna
your
show it
segments.
anyway.
We're gonna screech.
I mean, my fault, not my fault. Recruiting this man, and he's gonna be a back-to-back national champion.
Not their fault.
He looks like he's getting a DUI.
He was in New York for the Heisman ceremony.
He might
Overhand
drop
and
on
open.
LSU.
That's crazy.
I hate him.
He did mic drop against LSU. It was not very cool, but he did it. He did it.
It's
All right,
almost like
curtain
he's
calls.
he's like too old for that stuff to be cool. It's like, all right, bro, we get it. You're 26. Like, time to move on with your life.
He didn't even want to come back to play.
Why y'all hating on the man?
Because of the mic drop is really the only reason. Like, I was cool with Stetson. I thought it was kind of a good story, but then he's acting like he's actually a player. I mean, you can get, a little too over your skis. Now he starts feeling himself, and it's like, bro.
Pat McAfee and them are hosting a mega cast for the national championship game.
I mean, I hosted a watch party. You didn't want to show up.
I show up to that, though.
There's no difference between me and Pat.
Bro, he's doing everything.
He's going to die.
He's making so much money.
I don't think he's even
He's
doing
everywhere.
money.
Everywhere, huh?
I don't think
He's not.
But he's going to wear, like, he's
But he needs to make the money to be able to continue to do what he's doing because he's traveling, flying private all the time. Like, he needs to do that.
They are, he's starting to get, like, a little bit of hate from his own fan base. If you check out, like, the Pat McAfee Reddit, they're like, the show isn't the same because he's so stretched so thin. It happens.
That's why he put the contingencies in place to add different segments and different types of shows, so it's not all about him. But that's what made the show so good.
Well, that's where you get into how far they've delved into being a part of YouTube as opposed to being a podcast, because the content they are now putting out is not. It's hard to digest through audio only when you're doing like the offensive line stuff and all the NFL film stuff. So he's transitioning.
Look, yeah, but and YouTube is they're in talks with a lot of.
They got Red Zone.
Yep, they're in talks with the NFL. There's gonna be like
Pat
streaming.
has
no doubt. That's my point. Like he did a very good job of hitching his wagon to YouTube and making his show as big as it can be on YouTube because streaming is what the future is. Obviously you see with Amazon Prime, YouTube is the OG of streaming, right? YouTube was the OG of internet videos and like stuff, but now they always have YouTube TV, which is the OG of streaming live television. And so you have to imagine it was only a matter of time before they got into live sports, and now they're getting Red Zone, which they spent a very big, pretty penny for.
Oh my god!
And it's going to be worth every cent.
I had a YouTube channel in high school. I did some content.
Good.
Black Friday. It's probably out there somewhere.
Oh,
I interviewed people that were waiting in line. I was like, "What are y'all doing here?" It was actually fire. Now that I think about it.
Pell's up 13 without Zion. Zion out for a month.
Or BI, right?
Yeah, it's tough, but they're winning.
All right, I have 2 curtain calls.
All right.
One of which
brought to you by both of them. Let's go. Dozy Place and Assured Partners.
There we go.
There you go.
This one is for Jared specifically because I feel like this is kind of right in your wheelhouse as somebody that consumes a ton of ESPN. Even though I feel like you shouldn't, but you can't help yourself. You just keep going to channel 35.
See, here's the thing. Let me just say this too while we're talking about that. My consumption of it is for information, not so much for the personalities.
But it's bad information.
No, it's not. How is that bad information?
I'm about to show you.
He's gonna give me
he's gonna show you
one example.
Fox.
Yeah, he's gonna give me an example. Here
it
we go.
is.
And it's not from ESPN, it's from Fox.
I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
And not on a football game. Yes, let's go, Jim. Thank you. Wanted you to go, Jim. Thank you.
Nope. My bad.
What are you doing?
I don't know why it does that. Sorry. Skip deserves all that shit. I'm so fucking. I hate that I
Skip
even
Bayless.
played it, but
I
I
hate Skip
fucking
Bayless.
hope that this.
I'm surprised that they still have a show together because it looks like that's been a few
think
times
he just
where
resigned recently.
Who?
Shannon did. I think so. Like obviously before.
I mean
These
that
last
seems
two
like
teams.
it seems like Shannon wants to kill him. The
Yeah.
last like 4 or 5 times it seems like Shannon wants to just wring his neck.
Yeah, I think they're about as far.
Bro,
apart
he
right
is
now.
so. Skip Bayless
He's
is
so entitled and
tone-deaf,
pompous. And,
exactly.
Yeah, it's
all of it.
yeah. And I think he's
hate
been
him.
that way he's been that way for a
There's
while.
a reason why Stephen A left him. Like, I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. God, I hate him so much. So what's your curtain call?
And it's not even that bad. Like, just delete the tweet, dude. Why are you sticking so
What is there to
hard
stand
your
by?
Because
guns?
he's so
Yeah.
lost in his own sauce.
What is there to stand by?
And then,
Just
and,
go
then
ahead and
he's,
delete it.
and then he's gonna say that nobody from the studio or whatever had a problem when he led his statement yesterday with "they wanted me to explain."
Yeah.
And it's like,
Somebody actually, it just doesn't make any sense.
And this is my curtain call, which is.
So what was that?
and you could tell it.
You just wanna
he
throw
tells
it on
Shannon
there?
over.
Show it, yeah.
He's like, he's sick of arguing with him. He's like, whatever, let's just go.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's bad. Frank, no worries.
Yeah. But, like, I just love to see the team kind of, like, it gave me.
And if people want to say anything about Brian Kelly about not being a player's coach and like kind of being like old, like get off my lawn type of guy, those guys who don't are like old and lame, they don't do that. They don't say the things that he said in the interview, like, "Oh, I was fine with the celebrations." Like
Joe Fisher
that's
dove
okay.
into a pile of Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
Like it's just it just really speaks to what LSU is building here, and I was a pessimist as to what was going to happen with LSU. I didn't know if he would be able to be this cool, and it feels like he's kind of ingratiated himself to Louisiana, and to see that was awesome.
So Louisiana does see, man.
He did that from the start, didn't he? He changed his accent.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Lloyd still didn't believe it.
All right. You got one?
Yeah. My curtain call is to, I guess I could say, probably the American people. I think the one really, really, really good thing that social media has brought these days is watching people galvanize behind each other for a certain cause, right? So this DeMar Hamlin situation happens, and I didn't hear anything. I didn't know anything about his toy drive and his foundation until this whole thing happens with him, right? I look at it probably somewhere right after the game, and I first got eyes on it when it was in the $10,000 range, somewhere in there, right? It is currently up to almost $7 million, and this is from Monday night, right? And so for me, you would think something like that would go from, I saw it when it gets to $1 million and $2 million, and you think it kind of cap out there, but then it gets to those spots, and then you see the Tom Brady's and the Russell Wilsons and all these people start pitching in, and it just keeps going. And so for me, it's pretty cool to see what people can do behind a situation that's so unfortunate to help another situation that's unfortunate. You just would like to see stuff like this happen more and less of a dire need situation type of thing. But it's pretty cool to see that.
You don't want something to happen to make them to force them to do that for sure. My curtain call, and you touched on it, is DeMar Hamlin. Obviously, the situation is very tragic and is very sad, and it is a chilling situation. It brings a lot of, listen, every time you play football, you have a chance of having sustaining injury. You never really think that I'm gonna die on the field, right? And he went through a situation where, he's fighting for his life, right? And so, my curtain call is to him and to the way he's fighting and to the support, right? But it's also to the medical staff and the people who acted so swiftly and so quickly and were able to get on the field. And if he, hopefully, obviously he's progressing in a positive direction, and they are a big reason why that is the case. They didn't panic in a situation where it was very easy to panic. They didn't. They remembered all of their training and education, and they did things to where they were able to save this man's life, right? Yeah. Hopefully, right? Like, obviously, he is progressing. You don't know, it's a long process, and he still has a long way to go. But the fact that they were able to do that and act and respond as quickly as they did is, a testament to them and being ready for a situation that nobody could have ever expected to happen, right? And then the second part of my curtain call, and probably the not as important of a part, but still vitally important to the whole coverage of it, was the way that Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, the ESPN crew, Scott Van Pelt and Ryan Clark and all of these guys, the way they handled the media coverage of this situation, right? It was about DeMar Hamlin. It was about his well-being. It was about his safety. And it was about making sure him and his family were thought of first. Football wasn't even a conversation. That wasn't even part of what they needed to talk about. And to me, they did an unbelievable job in an impossible situation. And, it is, I was watching it. Obviously, I watched it as much as I could, until I passed out in my bed, and when it was, got to be about midnight, and you clearly weren't going to get any more news through the course of the night. So, that's a hard situation. That's something that you can't ever prepare for, and that's my curtain call is everybody that was involved and how well they handled it, and to DeMar and his family. There you go.
Talk about I knew it was a dire situation just from the production standpoint, being able to do what I do for, I guess, a living. Whenever you go to multiple commercial breaks, you know that there's something that they don't want to show on the field. So that was, kudos to the entire...
And kudos for them not showing the replay of it,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. We're not going there again. So you had to... I'm sure they were pulling breaks out of wherever they could find them, and it was just But that's when you knew it was serious. It's whenever we're going to 15 minutes of straight commercial, now we're going to Booger, and he's trying to talk about it. I feel like Ryan Clark probably did the best job of...
I think he has the most.
Yeah.
And we talked about it before.
Yeah.
I think it was off air, right? It wasn't on air. We were talking about this.
I think it was on Jordy's show when you hosted.
No, we talked about it on Joy's show, but I'm talking about with the Ryan Clark.
Yeah.
I think he did such a good job because he went through a similar situation, right? He almost lost his life playing football. Obviously, it wasn't because he got hit. It was based off of his sickle cell disease that he has, and but he was on the football field and he almost died. So it was a way he can, in a sense, relate to what was happening, and I think that's why it was awesome not awesome, but like he did a very good job.
He's the perfect person
of
in
being able to
situation.
explain it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. Great show today. We will have a show on Friday. We don't know the time yet. We will announce the time on Friday. We don't have a live show from Uncle Earl's anymore, but we will have a show from studio. It'll be earlier in the day. We are going to have a conversation off air after this to figure out the best time to have it, and we will announce it and we will let you know. Thank you for tuning in to Mik'd Up. We love y'all. We appreciate all your support. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please share our clips on socials. Jack does a very good job with our social channels. And again, if you haven't tuned in, we will post it on our social channels. But Caesar Sportsbook, download the app. MMBB Full is the promo code. Enter to win 2 tickets to the LSU Florida game on January 10th in the PMAC. And, risk-free bet up to $1,250.
You can't lose.
Can't lose. Win-win situation for everybody. We love y'all. We can't wait to talk with you again on Friday. We're going to have some different segments. Hopefully we get a little phone call-in type of thing going on soon. We should do that.
Yeah, we need to do the Ask Mikey and Mitch.
Yep, we're going to get there.
Thing moving.
All right. Enjoy your hump day. See you on Friday. Peace.
Hump if you can.